Hey everybody, it's November 15th today, and if you've been cruising around the internet in the past few weeks, you probably see a million videos on rut timing, when you should hunt, when's the rut going to be, and so one more video won't hurt, right? So I'm going to talk about the rut just a little bit, since today is the absolute peak of breeding activity. Now, what does that mean when you're in the field hunting? The problem with the rut is everybody wants to focus on it and they want to try to predict it. You can't, I can predict the rut. It's been the same for the last several thousand years, and it'll probably be the same for the next several thousand years. It is peaks out at November 15th, and that's proven out through fetal samples taken from road-killed deer. I'm in Pennsylvania, so the study was done in Pennsylvania. That's what I go by. So anything in this latitude is going to be the same, and it just has to do with light. And if you want to know the gory details of the biology of the brain and the hormone system and how that works, I'm going to link to another video I did a couple years ago that explains all that. But what I want to talk about here is that everyone wants to hunt the rut, which it can be really exciting to be in the woods and watch deer running back and forth and chasing does. And you see a lot of action. It's a lot of fun to hunt, and I enjoy it too. But I would much rather hunt when I can predict when deer are going to move and where they're going. Right now, it's kind of like a pinball machine. Deer are running all over the place. And the best thing to do in this case is to set up on some sort of pinch point where deer kind of funnel down and they go around a ravine, around a pond, the edge, the corner of a clear cut maybe. You got to find places in the terrain that narrow the movement down so that when they're running around and bucks are cruising for a new doe after they're done with one doe, they're looking for another one. They might come by your stand, and this is a good time of year to do all-day hunts. So this can happen at any time during the day. In past about November 6th or so. And right now what's happening is you might not see a lot of deer now because what happens is a doe, when she's ready, she will get with a buck and allow him to tend her. In other words, instead of running off, she'll let him hang around, and they'll go into thick cover somewhere, bed down, and she'll sit there and he'll bed down right next to her where he can see her. And you might end up with 2 or 3 bucks also tending her. When she ovulates and she's ready to receive breeding, then she will indicate that. It's kind of like a woman, They have a way of letting you know that they want it. Does do the same thing, and they're pretty good at it. They give off certain smells and behaviors that a buck can recognize. And especially an older buck, you don't really see older bucks getting in on this active chasing that you see. It's usually spikes and forkies, 1 or 2 year old bucks, because they don't know what's going on yet. A buck that's been around a few years, he knows what the deal is. He knows what a doe smells like when she's going to stand for him. The other bucks that are chasing, the younger bucks, they're running after a doe because they're just driven by instinct. The doe doesn't want it, and she runs off, and he runs after her. So as far as hunting right now, I would say that if you are scheduling your days off, right now, although it's the peak breeding, it's not the peak activity. So I would say that November 15th and thereabouts, not a good time to take your vacation. I would take my vacation from Halloween up until about November 8th or so. So that first week in November is ideal. What happens around here anyway, I hate to do this to you, I'm going to the whiteboard. What happens is we get some activity around the middle of October, and I think what happens is that some does might come into estrus mid-October instead of mid-November. So we usually get a little bump right here of activity. Now this is not breeding, this is activity. So you get mid-October, like around the 16th or so, you get that bump there. And then you get we usually get really warm weather in October, in mid-October, and then when it cools off, somewhere in October, you get a cold spell or a cold night. That's a good time to be in the woods. If you can take a day off whenever you want. Look for those cold fronts that are coming in October. I would rather be in the woods then than any other time. Now, here's the 15th, let's say. And breeding is going to go like this. It's going to be on a bell curve. And there might be a little bump in December. And that bump, of course, is does that did not get bred at the proper time. And it could be if a fawn is real healthy and is born early in the spring and is very mature, it might come into heat in December. So you get a little bump there. I've shot bucks chasing does in December in rifle season. So take a look at that other video. I'm going to put a link somewhere here and in the description, and that'll give you all the gory details of the biology of the whole thing. But again, I would say that the first week of November is the best time to go hunting, and then you can always go on stand in December, in that mid-December period. But my money is on this time period because the deer are going to food. All right, so if you have the food on your property, you're hunting private land, you have a good food source, good food plots installed for fall, the deer are going to be going back and forth and showing up there, and your bucks will show up there too. And you can also count on this time period here when things are really calm. Things are calmed down a lot. Bucks are still going to follow a doe that hasn't been bred yet. He's going to follow her for as long as it takes till she can stand for him, okay? So he'll be following her all around, and when she goes to a food plot, he's vulnerable. He's going to come out in the food plot so that he can keep an eye on her. If you're hunting back in here, then bucks have a tendency to stay under cover until dark. So, but you also have longer days. So it's a toss-up, but you know, good weather, good deer movement. And then in November, it's a lot of fun to hunt right in here. But if you're bow hunting, it's not that great, is it? Because when you see deer, they're usually running about 50 miles an hour and you can't get a shot anyway. So although a lot of big bucks die right in here, I would say that it's just not all that it's cracked up to be, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. So I did not shoot anything during the rut. I saw a bunch of bucks. They were all small. I saw one nice buck, and he didn't even come close to getting in within bow range, and sticking right with a doe. And I'm looking forward to rifle season when you get into I think it's the 28th 8th of November this year. So you get into here in rifle season, and you get that first weekend, Saturday and Sunday, maybe Monday. Tuesday, that's when I want to be in the woods. If I had my choice, if I'm working in a factory or something, and I needed to trade shifts with somebody, I wouldn't go out the first day because deer are scared to death and they just go hide somewhere. I'd rather come out when guys are out of the woods and deer get it back on their regular feeding schedule. So now you're hunting feeding to bedding movement back and forth. You just figure out where those places are, get in between them, and just wait them out. You'll get one. So, I like to watch a lot of YouTube as well, but I can tell you that these guys that get on there and start telling you when the rut's going to be and when you should hunt, they're full of crap. Maybe I'm full of crap too. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think that I don't know what I'm talking about. So, but I've been hunting for 50 years and I've been around, and I'm just going by my experience. So good luck. If you haven't killed one yet, keep at it, because eventually you're going to run across a buck and you're going to be able to get them. Just keep at it. If you're a novice, I can tell you the one thing that will train you to hunt is doing a lot of it. Watching YouTube, you're not going to learn anything on YouTube except on my channel. But, you should be watching all my videos. Okay? So subscribe. Check out my other stuff. I got a course on food plots. I have a Patreon now that you can get access to courses and all the detailed information on land management that I do. And check that out. And I'll see you on the next video. All right. Talk to you soon.